Hello, welcome everybody on YouTube. Welcome everybody on Facebook as well. It's Paula here. How are you today? So good to see you all here. I was thinking about all of you because it seems like the holiday season just sometimes sweeps us away, and we really jump on that hamster wheel that is so exhausting, that takes our energy and really kills our joy. So that is why I am doing this series of lives. I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube. So you're going to be seeing me looking at two different places and I'm going to be peeking on my notes as well. Because I want you to have a happy holiday season. I want you to feel relaxed and connected. I want you to feel abundant. I want you to feel playful and joyful. But it is this doing that really kills the joy. So today and this week, actually, I am here to offer you 5 mistakes so that you can be aware of these 5 mistakes and what to do instead, because it's these 5 mistakes that really make the holidays horrible instead of happy. So the name of the series is From Horrible to Happy Holidays. Discover how to stop looking for happiness in all the wrong places so that you can actually relax and enjoy being present with your family this holiday season. So you get to come out of that frantic preparation mode that usually just leads to exhaustion, stress, and overwhelm. And where that is really coming from is this idea that there's some perfect image out there, that there's some ideal holiday, there's some ideal family, and we are on this never-ending quest to fit that mold. Yet that mold is only an image, it's only a fantasy. So it only provides dissatisfaction and suffering instead of true happiness and holiday cheer. And the purpose of these lives, it's going to be happening Monday through Friday this week at 10 a.m. Pacific time, is also to step out of that chaos and conflict so that you can actually slow down and be present, be connected and joyful. And I'm going to talk about how to do that each day, how to reach that place of joy and connection. And my intention is also to support you in stepping out of that exhaustion and overwhelm and to rest. Really choosing rest, that's what it comes down to, is how to choose rest, how to choose yourself, because you are important. Okay, so the 5 basic mistakes that many families make that create this really super stressful holiday season are these. Choosing to live in scarcity mindset instead of realizing that you are already abundant. That abundance of time, love, energy, and connection is already within you. It's nothing outside of yourself. Number 2 is looking for things outside of ourselves to make us happy. Now, here's the secret. Nobody is ever going to make you happy. And just by letting go of that idea of happiness being outside of ourselves, you can already turn your gaze inward. You're already stepping into your power by figuring out, okay, well, Paula, if happiness is not outside of myself, then how do I find it? And I'm going to tell you that in these lives this week. Number 3 is that arbitrary image of happy, joyful holiday season that we all try to fit and create this perfect image at whatever cost it takes. It's that perfectionism striving that. So I'm going to talk about tomorrow how to buckle up your perfectionism and strive and shift that into healthy striving instead. Mistake number 4 is believing the stories that our mind makes, right? The mind is a story maker. It weaves stories. It weaves stories of assumptions of how things are supposed to look like, who you're supposed to be, what are you supposed to be doing, lots of expectations. So do you see how we end up living, instead of living life in the present moment, we end up living a fantasy in our minds, and we are not actually connected at all to what's here and now in front of us. And I always say this, that expectation is premeditated resentment. So my invitation is to stop expectations. And I'm going to talk about how to do that. Number 5 is on Friday, I'm going to be talking about boundaries for people pleasers, just like me. I'm a recovering people pleaser. And it's exhausting because you end up living a life for other people. For many, many years, I completely lost who I was. And I was pretending to be someone that I wasn't. I wasn't even aware that I was pretending that I was someone who I wasn't. And it's been a beautiful journey really back to myself. Because here's the secret too. We never change. We are always who we are. We will always have our history. We are always who we are. We will always be, all our limiting beliefs and all our stories and all that. So let's let go of that striving to change. It's not about that. It's about acceptance of everything that you are. And it's about doing things differently. And I don't care where you start, even if it's just a tiny little habit change that becomes over time this course correction, like a ship out on the ocean would be course correcting little by little, 1 degree at a time. So instead of going here, the ship goes there. So to get unstuck, the first thing is to take action, and starting with those tiny actions, okay? So letting go of that people pleasing is going to be super powerful, because that will give you the freedom to be who you are and set those healthy boundaries without guilt and obligation, because you get to choose it or lose it, like I say. I'll talk more about that on Friday. So that's the plan for this week, so you can really experience happy holidays instead of horrible holidays. And right now it's a good time to start preparing for this, because this work is, who's doing the work? You are, we are. So it's not about changing your partner, your husband or your wife. It's not about changing your kids, especially your kids. The kids are who they are. When you transform, it appears as the world transforms. Okay, so today's topic is really about abundance. So today I'm going to talk about how to transform stress and overwhelm into abundance of time, energy, connection, and love. Those are the main things, right? If we had all the time in the world, if we had the energy, if we had the connection, and if we had the love. So I love abundance work. I really do. I love manifesting abundance, and I'm having fun with it, because sometimes it's successful, other times it's not. But I want to share the principles of abundance, how to manifest abundance, time, energy, love, connection. So you can start doing that in your family, because I know as a parent, it feels like, oh my God, life is just going. And the kids demand so much. But what if you had this inner sense that you are limitless, like your energy and time is actually unlimited? Because the exhaustion is really coming from the mindset of the idea that I have limits, that there is some arbitrary line we draw in wherever we draw it in the air. I can't do this. We say things, at least I say things, I can't do this, I've had enough, there's no way I can add anything more to my plate. And guess what? Because I'm into transformational leadership and I'm coaching a program with 130 students, And constantly, every week when I think like I've reached my limit, today's the week, this week is the week, something more gets added and I get through it. So part of this is you to stretch yourself, to step outside the comfort zone and actually test your abundance and how to manifest abundance. And it begins with the belief. It begins with the belief that you are an abundant being and that whatever we believe in is what we can manifest. This whole series started with me speaking with my good friend from my leadership program. And we were talking about abundance. And I was sharing with her how I source parking spots like crazy. Like I have zero doubt ever that I will not get a parking spot. So it doesn't matter what festival or event is happening. You know, people park miles away, they take the shuttle. I literally drive right in there, right next to the event, and poof, like that, just like that, there is a parking spot. Because I have, and the reason that's happening for years and years and years, over and over again, because I have no energy around that. I have no limiting beliefs. I have no worry. I just believe it 100% that that's the case. Therefore, it happens every time. So I want to share that because that's a mindset you get to have as well about your own levels of energy. So if you've had a tough night and couldn't sleep and the kids were having really hard time falling asleep, like what if instead of the mind going like, oh my God, tomorrow is going to be horrible. I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to be so frustrated. I'm going to be so irritated. It's going to be so hard, and on and on and on it goes. When you tell yourself that, that's the experience that you're going to have. We create our own experiences. So the experience changes when your perception changes. So my invitation is for you to adopt my mindset with my parking spots and just believe that you will have the energy no matter what. That your commitment to be the parent that you desire to be, to create the holiday season that you desire to create, that your commitment to that is bigger and stronger, so to speak, than your levels of energy. Because if we really think about energy, let's take energy. In its essence, there is unlimited supply of it. It's everywhere. You look around, I have lights around me, there's sunshine outside. We are literally surrounded by energy all the time. It is unlimited, infinite amount of energy. So we are actually surrounded by this field of energy. So what if we tap into that? Because that's a quality of nature. Quality of nature is abundance. I do believe it's our birthright to be abundant and to be prosperous. And we just need to return to our natural state of being and realize that this scarcity mindset, this limited mind, comes from our own history, what society tells us, and it's really related to our ego. And our ego is bound to this world, it's bound to live in polarity, it's bound to suffering. So it is our higher self, our true self, our authentic self that lives in this abundant, unlimited area. Think about time next. Time has always existed. It's existing right now and it always will. Like, how can we say I have no time when it's always there? It's just our perception that I have no time. And again, time management is not about managing time itself. It's impossible. You can't do that. You cannot manage time. You cannot manage. I can't manage the air. Like, I can't just grasp the air. I can't just like start taking the air and hoarding it. I can't. At least not with my fists. But here we go, like, I'm going to manage time. No, Managing time is about managing your mind and your relationship with time. And the important thing here is also making time for the things that are important. So if you want to create connection, stop everything. Stop the running around and the doing and everything, and just pause and be with the discomfort of letting go of control. So instead of controlling, experiencing the present moment as it is right now in front of you, looking at the eyes of your child and the radiance that you see in that, and the light and the smile, that's timeless. That's precious. That's what's important, versus rushing out the door or getting into power struggles with the brushing of the teeth or the bedtime. They're not going to be that age forever. Or whatever other struggles you might have, like older school age children and teenagers have different challenges as well. So be in the present moment and pausing and stopping and realizing, connecting with what is important. Same thing with love, unlimited amount of love. You choose whether you love or not. You choose whether your love is conditional or unconditional. Now here's the thing, you are love, like the authentic self that we just talked about, that you are love. I'm not saying you are loving. I'm actually saying you are love. When you are something, that is powerful. When you are something, it's effortless to love. Loving is just a way of being. Just like there's power in gravity comes to mind. I use that a lot as an example. Gravity is a powerful force, right? It takes zero effort for gravity to be gravity. Yet it's the most powerful thing on this planet, right? We are on this crazy planet spinning around, I don't even know how many thousands of miles per hour. In the universe, we're just like out of control spinning, and somehow we stay on this earth, like, and we feel okay, we're not dizzy. That's remarkable. And so gravity is holding us here. It doesn't take any effort for gravity to be gravity. Just like loving, when you come from that unconditional love, it doesn't take any effort. So my invitation is stepping out of that conditionality. Like, I can only love or give attention to my child when they're behaving, when they're well, when they're having good grades, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Or only loving people who do not hurt. I love people who have hurt and betrayed me so badly. I love them. I love them. I choose to love because that love is healing me and it's healing them too. So choosing that. There's unlimited amount of love available for you. If you just realize that and choose that, it really comes down to a choice. Okay. The other principle of abundance is realizing that we are not separate. We are all connected. So what are we really fighting then? What are we really resisting? When you're resisting your child, it's the resisting life that is exhausting. It's the resisting life that is causing pain and suffering. If we just go with the flow and create equanimity, equanimity means you are in the center. Which it means you're not judging. And if you've heard me speak before, you always hear me say turning judgment into curiosity. So one way to create equanimity is to be curious. Instead of judging the child of, throwing a tantrum or not doing their homework, or the teenage lying, that's a good one. Or the kid yelling at you, I hate you, mom, I hate you, dad. And we get into this judgmental mode right away. Instead of all that, being curious. Curiosity is loving. Curiosity is like, we are all the same. We are all connected. So in the end, we only fight ourselves when we are triggered. It's never about the trigger. It's never about the button. Never about the button. It's about ourselves. So that's why you get to look into yourself instead of fighting and blaming and judging what's in front of you. I think it's the third principle of abundance is to be in the flow, which means not only to receive, but to also let go. So to manifest abundance, you get to have some empty cup. You get to be humble. You get to be, we can't be full of ourselves and expect abundance to come into our lives, because we need to be that empty vessel where abundance needs to come in. And again, these practices of letting go, it can be very concrete and simple. Cleaning your closet. I get to clean my purse. Cleaning my computer has a lot of stuff going on there. There's, so energetically, all this is getting filled up. What's in your mind? Is your mind cluttered? How can compassion, forgiveness, peace, love enter your mind if it's occupied with some clutter of limiting beliefs and self-judgments and things like that? So you get to even clear your mind by choosing to let go. I'll show you how easy it is to let go. Let me grab something. So I have this. I'm holding on to it really tight. It takes a lot of energy. How do I let go? I just release. I just release my fingers. And there it goes. It's not that complicated, really. It really isn't. We make it complicated. People ask always, how? Well, how do you let go of stuff? If you're holding on to stuff in your fist, you choose to open your fingers and let it go. You choose to open your mind and let it go of the limiting beliefs. That's how that works. Begins with the choice. Okay, so working on receiving, yes, and letting go. That's what I mean by the flow. Radical gratitude. It's another principle of abundance, how you can manifest abundance. The universe, it's not going to knock on your door if you are that, neighbor that's constantly complaining. Like, would you want to go visit somebody who is all the time whining and complaining? I never have enough this, and this is so bad, and this hurts, and that, and my kids, and my wife, and my husband, like constant complaining. Constant unhappiness about where life is right now. So radical gratitude means that it's not just like gratitude, like, okay, I'm grateful for my friends, I'm grateful for my connections. It's like, I'm grateful that I'm in this shit right now. Things are really hard and I don't know how I'm going to get out of it, and it feels like a disaster, and I'm grateful because I get to experience this right now. As a parent, I'm grateful that my child is throwing an anger tantrum or is doing this and that, because I get to, if I was a parent, I get to practice compassion, love, patience. It's an opportunity for me to grow. Therefore, I'm grateful. I'm grateful so that my child is showing me who do I get to be in order for them to feel loved by me. Who do I get to be in order for them to feel free? That's what it's all about. Being in relationship with someone. Letting them be free so you can be free too. So radical gratitude, you can start it right now. There's different ways, and you can look into those details, but different ways to begin to really practice the state of gratitude. All that I'm talking about today is shifting your internal weather. It's shifting that internal weather, that what you are feeling inside. You can actually choose that for yourself, that feeling state. And then when we come from joy, love, connection, equanimity, then now the results are going to change. because you show up differently. You're different. You are in your power. You're free to move about versus protecting yourself out of fear. The last one, trust and have faith. Trust universe. Trust yourself. That universe is not out there to get you. It's there to love you. And the love of the universe, we can't judge that. We cannot judge that. We get to be curious about that. Like when I was in a car accident in 2007, it took me 2 years to recover from that. I was grateful. I chose gratitude. And when I say these things, it's not like, oh, it's so easy. No, it's hard for me too. But I choose it every time. I choose it over and over again. So 2 years I couldn't run, and I loved running before that. And I learned, I literally learned so many things. I learned how to forgive and let go of anger. I learned how to feel anger. I learned how to feel resentment and then let it go too. I learned how to commit to my recovery and stay committed. And I learned that what felt impossible at some point is possible. Because when I couldn't walk and my ex-husband had to help me to the toilet because I couldn't do it by myself, I never thought that I could do something like a crazy yoga back bend, like Urdhva Dhanurasana or something like that. Now I'm doing those left and right like nobody's business. I never thought I could do that. I never thought my body would be able to do that. So having faith and trusting the universe, and even writing a list. I trust the universe because I have trust in the universe. Like 5 things, why do you trust the universe? 5 things, why do you trust and have faith in yourself? Okay. So that is what I have for you today for abundance. And this is how you can transform stress and overwhelm into abundance of time, connection, love, and energy. Just practicing these things. And my final word to you, because I know I work with hundreds and hundreds of people over my 20-year, probably thousands of people over my 20-year career. And one thing that really keeps people stuck is pretending not to know. So even after I tell people how to do stuff, people keep asking, how? Well, how, Paula? I've just told you how. And now it's for you to take in and realize that pretending not to know and to continue asking how is just a mechanism to continue to keep you safe. Because even though the present condition might be miserable, it's the comfortable misery because you know it. What I'm asking you to do, where the transformation is, where we stop looking for things outside of ourselves, for the happiness outside, looking for happiness in all the wrong places. That requires courage. It requires trust and belief. It requires you to go to the skinny branches, like my trainer Michael Strassner says. Traveling to the skinny branches, to the skinny branch, it feels like I'm going to take one more step and this branch is going to crack. And let it crack. Let yourself fall and surrender to that. See what happens. Because that's where the juicy transformation happens, in our edges, in the edge of the skinny branch, the edge of our being. And then when we go there and we take the next step into the abyss, we realize that, wow, nothing happened. We are still here, and now we feel stronger and more powerful and more loving. So that's what I have for you today. Write comments. If you have any questions, you can just ask questions there. Tomorrow, I will talk about how to shift out of misery by realizing happiness is already inside you. So today we talked about abundance. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how to shift out of that misery and finally realizing that happiness is already inside you. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye now.